Hi everyone, Adrian from Audio Excellence, Canada. The video you're about to see is us uncrating one of my dream speakers, the Sonus faber SE17s. Now the original version of these speakers were unveiled back around 2010 or 2011, thereabouts. And I remember reading about it and hearing from some reviewers who were at the unveiling and how their reactions were just absolutely amazed by the speakers, both in terms of the sound as well as the way they look. So I always wanted a pair, but of course that was back then, 2010. We were just growing the company. We didn't have the ability to do so, and we didn't have the room either. Anyway, fast forward 2019, right around September, the Toronto Audio Fest was happening, and a month before that, I guess it was about a month before that, the Sonus faber agent, who's also a very good friend, Scott, reached out to me and said, "Hey, would you like to go to Sonus faber factory and visit?" And of course I said, "Sure. Why wouldn't you take every opportunity to go visit Italy, regardless of whether or not you like the manufacturer?" So it was an amazing time. Had a great time in Italy, met a bunch of friends, met the staff at Sonus faber, the designers. You can actually see the interviews that we did. So you can see the interviews that I did with both Paulo and Livio in the description box links below. While we were there, I saw a pair of the Sonus faber SE17s getting ready to be shipped, and sure enough, they were absolutely magnificent, both in stature and just the amazing balls that it took for the company to take a philosophy and design as far as they have. Fast forward a couple of months ago, my friend Scott reached out to me and said, "You really should have a pair of these on the floor." And without hesitation, I said yes. And then the realities of the logistics sunk in. Where was I going to put them? We have a big room, but the room already has a pair of the Wilson XVXs and the Aidas in the room. How am I going to get the speakers into the shop? We have, thankfully, a beautiful big loading area, but there's a lot of stuff in that loading area, including our inventory. And then the logistics. The speakers, uncrated, weigh 676 pounds each. And unlike the Wilsons, where they come in separate modules so you can uncrate them and move them, that weight is for one monolithic enclosure. Thankfully, Sonus faber, the design team, had thought of all these things, and the speakers include a dolly. So anyway, the speakers arrived. Then we realized that they had been shipped on pallets. So whereas the speakers normally would be shipped in their crates, and all you have to do is just take the panels out and attach the dollies and wheel the speaker in, because the speakers had been shipped on crates, on skids, we now had to move crates that weigh probably 900 pounds off the skids first before we could take out the panels and move the speakers into the room. And that's where Akbar and his team came in. Thankfully, Akbar and his team have been helping us move ginormous amps and speakers for quite a while now, and they're great. So this video, you're going to see them figure out how to do it, and thankfully everything happened well without any scratches. Nobody got hurt. And anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is a first part of multiple parts, just like when we did the XVXs. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you will join me on my journey to experiencing some of the finest speakers in the world.
What happens if the guy call and they want this in the, for example, basement or something?
No.
We call that
We
one.
call you guys again, and you guys take it down to the basement.
No, I'm gonna raise this family.
I don't know.
Just
One in the
before
basement is a
telling me.
really big problem. How do you get a piano down?
Jesus.
we can. But hopefully they have an elevator.
I'm praying for that.
Okay, so finally the reveal.
So, oh, go ahead.
No. This is the actual unveiling. Now that we've managed to get this speaker all the way in from the dock, and
That's not a knife. This is a knife.
we actually have box knives. Okay, I
Yeah,
thought you
but-
went to get a box. Okay.
No, this is the one Walter gave me.
Okay.
It's Japanese steel. It's like, look at this. It just cuts it through it like
It's the Ginzu knife.
it is a Ginzu. Look, I just touch it and it
All right,
just
there we go. Come to
Ooh.
the front. Come to the front.
don't.
Okay,
Yeah.
ready?
Yeah.
This is like a car show. Where's Vanna White? Ta-da!
That is the front.
That is the front. Oh, ye of little faith. So
Oh my
that's the
gosh,
front.
there's a giant woofer on the side.
That's right.
That I can't see.
You can't see?
It's so
Hang on. Move the light so we can see a bit better. Is that better?
Slightly.
Look at that huge woofer. Now it's only the woofer is only on one side, so you can actually position the woofer on either facing the inside or the outside. In this case, we faced on the inside because
Well, actually, that's
It was-
fortunate.
it was
Philip's then next
by
to it.
accident. Yeah, look at that. Philip is what 5'9"?
No, I'm 5'7",
No, you can't be 5'7".
5'6.5", depending on. It's the morning, so I'm a little bit taller right now. I'm not
I
compressed.
think it's anyway. So that's how big the speakers are, and each speaker is what about 676 pounds or something like that.
Yeah, it's.
And then
it's
if you
heavy.
go in the back, Angus, that's very very cool.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So if you come around, I don't know if you can see. Is light good?
Back here it's better.
Okay. So
There's another speaker built into the
this
speaker.
this whole assembly allows you to tweak and tune the ambience that you get in the room. So in this room, because we've got a number of speakers in here, plus also we cannot move the speakers as far as the manufacturer likes us to, which is about 4 to 5 feet away. We can rotate this whole assembly either inside or outside as opposed to directly. So it gives us a varying amount of ambience as we choose to.
You know what? This speaker is much prettier than I remember it being in the pictures. This
So if
got
you look
like
at the
some
top,
beautiful
yeah.
curves.
So if you look at the top here, the controls. This is what allows us to do that. So deep, low level. So bass, low bass. The amount of low bass that we might want. Soundstage azimuth. So this is the adjustment, as you can see. So as I turn this knob, look at how easily this whole assembly moves. Look at that. See that? Look at that, Philip.
it's
That's so
it's
cool.
That
actually
is
tied to
very
this,
sexy.
right?
Yes, it's very sexy. So as we adjust it, so given that the speaker will be quite close to the wall, I would probably have it adjusted either further in or out that way and give us the sound.
There's in the ports here.
Yeah.
There's-
So anyway, there'll be
supposed to
lots there'll be
There's
lots
foam.
to figure out once we set
how
up.
do we move it? I mean, it's going to be a
We'll have to
problem.
call Akbar and his team. No, we'll use the jig that you saw just now in the unboxing, and we'll
Because
move
with
it.
The AIDA, you could kind of slide it a
Yeah.
little bit.
No,
This,
this is
this is
not
not
gonna
going to
be
happen. It's got rubber feet.
That's right. This is actually custom made from the factory isolation feet. It supports the whole speaker, but also it has elastomers built in. So the idea is that as the speaker plays and the vibration of the speaker is happening, it goes to the feet and the feet takes all the energy and converts it into heat. Inside the actual speaker itself, there's also a pattern that the factory has designed called tune mass dampers. And there are metal discs that are attached to different shells and also has elastomers as well, if I'm not wrong. And everything is tightened and tuned to a very specific torque level so that, again, when it hits a certain vibrational node, which they've measured the cabinet has excess of, it will cancel the vibration. So that's what they do. And yet, so some companies use, for example, Wilson uses custom-made materials that have very, very hard and low resonance. Other companies use like aluminum. Sonus faber has always chosen wood because they like the sound of wood, but they want to reduce the amount of resonance that the wood has, and this is how.
So the mass dampeners in here basically act like the same thing in buildings for
Yes, exactly right.
earthquake proofing.
Exactly right. So there you go. Now we're going to get the other one in. Okay, so we've finished moving the speakers into the room. Well, I shouldn't say we. The movers did, and the boys helped. So thank God for Akbar and his team. So this is a room that we very fondly call the McIntosh room because typically we have a ton of McIntosh in here. We still have some, but a lot of it has been sold off, and the rest have been moved to the other rooms. And part of the problem with availability of stock is that everybody else is scrambling to get shipments from factories due to the supply chain issues and so on. Anyway, that's another story for another day. So in this room, we now have the Sonus faber SE17s, and Jerry will pan and show you later the AIDA, which is on the other side of the wall. And then on the other side of the wall, which again, once we're done, Jerry will show the XVX, the Wilsons. Again, this room is a work in progress. It's very busy right now with a lot of stuff all over the place, all over the floors. Hopefully we'll get everything done by the rest of the week. If I'm not wrong, we're the only store, or at the very least, the only store in the world that has all three of these speakers in one room. That's crazy scary. We've got the Wilson XVXs, we've got the Sonus faber SE17s, and the Sonus faber AIDAs. If I had my way, on this wall in front of me, we'd have a pair of Wilson LXVs. But unfortunately, that would really be cramping this room. So when we get our LXVs, we'll put it in one of the other rooms where there's a bit more space. Our plan is we're going to have the McIntosh MC901 monoblocks, which are the 2 amps and 1 chassis. We've done a video of it in the past. You can check it out, and I think Angus or Jerry will link the video in the description box. So that amplifier has a tube amp and a solid state amp built in. So we're going to use that and biamp these speakers. We'll probably use the C1100s to drive as a preamplifier. Still not sure yet about source and so on, but we'll figure that out. So very exciting times. We'll follow up with a part 2 later on once everything is all sorted and set up. Anyway, thanks for watching this. Hope you like this video. Please add your comments below, thumbs up, thumbs down, share, subscribe, turn on the notification. Hope you're enjoying this voyage with us as we investigate and discover the amazing sounds that these 3 top of the very best speakers in the world have to offer. Take care, bye-bye. And as an addendum, many have asked me, what's the difference between the Wilsons and the Sonus fabers, and if you feel that the Wilsons are the best speakers, why would you bother with the Sonus fabers? Well, the simple answer is that choice is a really good thing, and thankfully I'm in the position that I can afford the choices. Wilsons today, under Daryl Wilson's guidance and design, in my opinion, make some of literally the finest speakers in the world. When I listen to the XVX, I am in front of the musicians, or I am transported to the hall. It's uncanny. On good recordings, on great recordings, the effect is truly startling. Where the Sonus faber has always appealed to me is that in the past, early days of Sonus faber, the speakers had this beautiful musicality that was very obviously colored, but in such a way that it was okay, especially on small jazz ensembles, small classical ensembles, vocals, violin sonatas, and so on. they were just magical in a way that the music was communicated straight into your heart. You forgot to be an audiophile. You forgot that the recording wasn't so great. You forgot that even if the recording was amazing, that wasn't primary. You were just drawn into the music, and that was the thing that I really loved about Sonus faber. However, the limitations of early Sonus fabers were that they were not dynamic enough, so that classic rock, metal, R&B, and so on weren't well reproduced. When Paolo took over the design responsibilities, one of the things that he immediately tried to do was to make the speaker more neutral and be able to play a much broader range of musical genres. And he has succeeded really well, I think. Not only are the current Sonus fabers much more dynamic, have much deeper bass with tremendous control, with imaging and sound staging like nobody's business. The beauty of the mid-range is still there. That ability for the speaker to communicate with you in such a way so that all you think about, if in fact you think at all, is the music. Just be washed with the music. And that's something that the Sonus faber does so well. So I'm grateful that I have both. It's sort of like having, for the people among you who are car lovers, having a Mercedes AMG, which can do incredible speeds and torque and corners and incredible engine sounds and still have wonderful luxury. And that's, I think, what the Sonus faber means to me, or the new Ferraris for that matter. Whereas the Wilsons are much more performance orientated, where form entirely is dictated by function. The speakers look the way they look because they have to. They sound the way they sound because Daryl and his late father, David, have this sound that they're trying to capture or recapture from the recordings that they've made. And so in that sense, philosophically, they're a little bit different from each other. And then finally, the question, why speakers? When we are done in this room that we're in right now, we will have speakers that in Canadian dollars retail for close to $1 million. We'll have the Wilson XVXs, the Sonus faber SE17s, and a pair of the AIDAs. And if I had my way, frankly, I'd have the LXVs in the same room as well, but chances are they'll go into another room because this room is already way too tight. So why speakers? Why not sources and amplifiers and so on? In other words, spend that kind of money on electronics and sources. And I would, except I don't have unlimited amounts of money. I've always experienced that given the money that I have, that it would be best spent on speakers. Assuming that the rest of the components are already quite good, that I get far more results from speakers. Here's an example. If I were to compare between a really good amp with an even better amplifier, a lot of the improvements tend to be micro. In other words, better detail perhaps, more high frequency clarity, and better bass control and so on. But I don't necessarily get much more bass. In other words, the macro. In other words, quality as opposed to quantity and quality. So in the case of speakers, if you were to listen to a superb mini monitor, which doesn't have any real deep bass, and then listen to a speaker from the same company but now with deeper bass, you can instantly hear that the floor standing speaker has deeper bass. Well, that's quantity and quality. So I've always striven for both whenever possible given the budget. And that's why I always prefer to spend my money on speakers. And in my 30 some odd years of experience in this industry, it's never failed me. So that's why I spend the money on speakers. God help me. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video of the uncrating, and our next video will be an interview with Paolo, the designer. We'll see you again. Bye-bye.